All right, it is 5 p.m. We will call the October 11th, 2022 Fire District 5 Commissioners meeting to order. Kind of a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. Any commissioner absences coming up? All right, hearing none. Any communications to the board?
No communications.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the September 27th meeting?
So move.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. How about some voucher and payroll transfer approvals?
Well, since I'm back, I will move that we approve accounts payable vouchers 198037 through 198107, payroll vouchers 198101, 198108 through 198124, and ACH payroll transfer and wire transfer fees is outlined in the agenda for a grand total of $2,647,940.18.
Second.
Right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the vouchers and payroll transfer. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. Any 3390 reports tonight?
I was contacted by President Flick and he does not have a report tonight.
All right, we're in the chief's report then.
Great. Good evening. Division Chief of Logistics. Chief Black and I have been interviewing internal candidates. We interviewed 3 at our last interview today. Chief Black will be making that decision in the next couple of days, and we should have an announcement by the end of the week and have a division chief in place starting at the beginning of next month. We had 3 great candidates. We got a difficult decision ahead of us, and I'm excited to have that problem, to have 3 great people that have applied and did a great job. Lateral paramedics, we originally had 4 apply from departments within Pierce County. 1 dropped out right at the beginning of the process. We took 3 through the process, and Chief Meyer and I offered 2 of them contingent job offers. So one from, I can say where, one from East Pierce and one from South Pierce. So again, it's just a contingent offer. We still have a few more steps, but we're excited to get them going and get them in the seats. We have decided to make an operational change within Gig Harbor Fire. Right now, we have 4 MSOs, and I've made a decision to, it was a pilot program. We put them on 24-hour shifts during COVID, and I think that was the right decision to make at the time. But I've decided to move 2 into days and put 2 others back on the line as lieutenants. I think that'll give our division chief of EMS the support he needs during the day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And then it also will help us with some of our overtime issues by putting the other 2 back to, it's the same rank. It's not a demotion in any way, shape, or form, but rather than being MSOs, they'll be on the line as lieutenants. So we're going through that process. There's station picks. We have to offer these jobs up. We still need to negotiate the effects with the union. So it's not a done deal, but I wanted to let you know that was a decision that I had made to do. And we're working through the process with the local, with the MSOs and with the department. I think I've reported to you that South Kitsap chief and I met a year ago trying to solve our dispatch problems together. Sometimes we have 10, 12-minute delays between our borders because they're two different county dispatches. Sometimes we don't even get dispatched at all. There was a structure fire that in their district that we never even got called to. The chief and I have a great relationship. I met him at EFO many years ago, and we want to work together. We've got the same radios. They bought radios so that we have interoperability. Our problem is the two dispatches, CAD to CAD, working together. What's frustrating is they have the exact same CAD, Hexagon. And so that third service provider, though, has not been very responsive. I did get a good update from the director at South Sound 911 that we finally did get a response from Hexagon, and they have put together a scope of work, and we are scheduling a meeting to all get together to work on moving that forward. So there has been some progress that I'm excited to tell you about, that we can start dispatching together with South Kitsap. I had sent you an email, and I can't remember if I had mentioned in person that at this meeting, I wanted to bring forward MRSC. We were rushing it a little bit, so I backed off, and then we were back on, and as of yesterday, we decided we weren't quite ready. So I will be bringing that forward in 2 weeks. If you have any questions about that, I'll be asking for you to review that contract in 2 weeks. It's only for $400, I think, but it's how we go out to bid and how we select vendors. So if you have any questions about that, let me know, but we'll be bringing that forward in 2 weeks. In-person meetings. I can't remember what I had updated you on here, but I think I have a solution that meets all of our goals to bring us back in person, to have a hybrid option, just like we have right now for commissioners or any member of the public to attend on Zoom, and to record it and to put it online with the school district. Chief Black and I are going next week to meet with them to see the facility, but it looks like we're going to be able to meet all the objectives above, and so it's looking good. I don't know how fast we'll be able to get that moving, but maybe in the next month or so, we're going to scope it out, and I'll bring it back to you to see if that's an option that you'd like to do. It would be, meaning those in person would go to the school headquarters. So more to come on that in the next 2 weeks. That is all I have for chief updates, unless there's any question for me on any of those subjects.
Doesn't look like it. All right. Thank you, Chief. Anything from standing committees? Do we have anybody get together? Don't think we did. I don't have anything for chairman's report tonight. So how about a bond update?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I asked Chairman Wilsey if we could just add this as a bullet point for the next 5 to 7 years, right? Rather than putting it under old business or new business, that we just have a bullet point here that each and every meeting will give you as much of update as we can on the bond. Chief Johnson has had a doctor's appointment. He did meet this week with Rice Fergus Miller. We're continuing down the road to get our capital facilities plan, so that we know we already had a capital facilities plan, but the plan going forward on a timeline, so that we can pick how much we want to sell in the first bond. So that's all the update I have. I know Chief Oldenburg has some updates on finances and our process.
Yeah, thank you, Chiefs. Just to give you the commissioners a little bit more of an update. So JJ is working on the bond capital budget for next year. That will be presented along with our budget as we move through the end of this year and get approval from the board. A couple of big benchmarks between now and the end of the year. Obviously, we've reached out through our municipal advisors, and we do have our bond rating now scheduled through Standard & Poor's. So we have a dress rehearsal bond rating walkthrough on our October 21st. October 26th is when we will actually be doing our bond rating presentation. We anticipate selling the bonds on November 16th. And we anticipate closing on the bond on December 6th. So that's kind of our big benchmarks. They were always set and out there. Now we're just finalizing and shoring that up. Today, we did receive via email our first copy of our actual presentation. So we will work through finalizing that prior to our dress rehearsal and walk through. We feel comfortable where we're at. We're going to prepare for the bond rating and all the associated steps through the end of the year. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of the benchmarks. Later on, you will be seeing in your packets a resolution for the official bond. That's a lot of the boilerplate legal language and stuff like that. And we do have our bond counsel and our municipal advisor are both on the line tonight to stand for questions if you have any in regard to the resolution. So I would stand for questions in regards to the bond. Thank you.
Don't see any questions. Thank you, Chief. All right, that'll take us to old business. So we have the collective bargaining agreements for uniform and non-uniform tonight. Chief.
Thank you, commissioners. We brought this, we had executive session 2 meetings ago to update you on this. And then last week we had it on the agenda to make it public. We wanted to wait another 2 weeks before there was a vote. So before you tonight is I'm actually excited to bring you the uniformed and the non-uniformed collective bargaining agreement. Commissioners Ency and Wilsey and I negotiated it, and I know we've updated you, but if there's any questions for any of the 3 of us.
Only question I have is procedurally, should we take 2 separate votes, one on the uniformed and one on the non-uniform contract, because they're 2 separate agreements? I feel like that might be the safe path.
Yes, we can do that. All right, does anybody have any questions for either the committee or the chief? Nope. All right, so I'd entertain a motion to approve the uniform collective bargaining agreement.
Alex, I'll move that we approve the uniformed collective bargaining agreement as outlined in the agenda.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the uniformed collective bargaining agreement. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Ency,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right, how about a motion to approve the non-uniformed collective bargaining agreement?
So moved.
I'll make a motion that we approve the non-uniform collective bargaining agreement as outlined in the agenda.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Ency,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right, that takes us to new business, resolution 2022-11.
Well, good evening, commissioners. This is the resolution that I referenced earlier in my conversation regarding the bond. As stated in the bond resolution, this is for the sale, issuance, and delivery of the bond proceeds not to exceed 50 million. We worded this resolution that way because we haven't quite built and finalized the capital budget. So we anticipate that 50 million will be sufficient ceiling for us to operate underneath that. So we will know a defined bond sale amount prior to selling the bonds. But at this point in time, in order to meet the timeline and deadlines, it's written not to exceed 50 million. It also designates the district's representative to approve the actual final terms of the sale. So the content and majority of the resolution is a lot of legal definitions and construct to support our bond sale. We do have the municipal advisor and our bond counsel both online to answer questions if you would have any in regards to the resolution.
Any questions? On resolution. All right, hearing none, I'd look for a motion to approve the resolution.
So move.
Anybody? All right.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 2022-11. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right, 2023 budget, second draft reading. Crystal, I think tonight. Are we at Crystal? There she is.
Okay. Let me check my camera here. There we go. Okay, so the presentation for today is also included in the packet, but I will share my screen. Give me just 1 second here. Okay. So this is the second draft of the 2023 proposed budget. Okay, so today's agenda is a little lighter than last week, moving into the highlighting our budget priorities, moving into the next year, any key highlights affecting the 2023 budget, our high-level updates with the nice graphics and giving you that split out at the end. We'll go over the budget timeline and then any additional questions that you might have. So some of this is a recap for those that were here at the last meeting. Our budget priorities for 2023 is to have a balanced budget. So our expenditures not to exceed our estimated revenues for 2023. That we have met our reserve requirements. This would be both in the reserve fund and our general expense fund. That all of our commitments and obligations are met, whether that's all of our legal commitments, our contractual obligations, and any known essentials to keep the lights on and facilities going. And then the new thing we'll be doing is the budget structure will align with our organizational structure. So with that, we'll have the split out and the display just a little bit different to provide some better reporting in the next year. So a couple key things to think about as we move through the second draft. This does include the EMS levy lid lift that is currently scheduled to voters in November. So that is included right now in the second draft. And then the other piece that is not included in the second draft, which will be coming in the next meeting, is the capital bond associated costs. So there will be a complete new budget with a new capital fund that will be coming at the 25th meeting. This is just a recap of prior structure. This aligns our organizational structure. So you'll notice that all the associated logistics pieces have been grouped under the logistics chief. Operations, we have suppression, EMS training, and our specialty teams, health and safety, finance and admin, and the one that's new on the right here is our capital. So that will be a new structure, both from having the assistant chief Johnson there and the new fund that he'll be managing as well. And so that's the new structure for 2023. Okay, so moving into our 2023 proposed budget, this makeup is by division. So operations is the largest piece of the pie at 71%. This does include EMS, training, suppression, and our specialty teams. Health and safety, logistics, you'll know, is a little bit larger than you might have seen in other areas because we've grouped all of those corresponding program areas together. And then legislative is a little bit smaller in that any functional areas that were actually under operations or health and safety, we've moved those out of legislative and moved those to the appropriate areas. This is the same organization, but by expense type. So you'll have salary, benefits, and our maintenance and operations. Okay, so this one is very similar to what we proposed in the first hearing. The one area that you'll note, salary, benefits, maintenance, operations are very similar. Our salary and benefits have tweaked a little bit. The one area that I want to note is on the transfer side. You might have noticed in the prior one, we had a corresponding bar for transfers. That area we have removed in the second iteration, and we plan on coming back at a later point, probably in December, where we'll have a recommendation for transfers from our general expense fund into the reserve fund to meet those commitments. So that is the key area that is different here in the second draft of our budget. And then before I go into timeline, I'll just pause here and see if anyone has any questions. Okay. So this is our budget timeline, fairly similar to what we had in the last draft. I think the key areas that are different here, we have added a fourth draft for your presentation on November 8th. That is just, we have so many things moving around with the capital side and the debt service side. We want to make sure we have an opportunity to propose that and give a draft before budget adoption. And then we've added the budget and levy certification piece. That's the process for us to be able to levy our taxes for the next year. And then we've added the bond closing on there as well. So that's a key highlight. And then a couple pieces that I just mentioned. So in December, we'll have a couple more things coming, the reserve transfer recommendations, and then we'll have a couple financial policy updates, which is more just administrative cleanup that we'll have for the later part of December. Okay. So this one doesn't have any significant changes from the first one. Next meeting will be a little more detailed. We'll have the revenue hearing and the revenue presentation, which will go into detail there. And then the third draft of the proposed budget will have the third iteration of the operating and the first draft of the capital budget. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and see if we have any questions related to the budget and the timeline.
Doesn't sound like it.
You guys are easy.
Yeah.
Okay, well that ends the second draft presentation, so thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. All right, that takes us to open public comment. Anybody wishing to come forward and address the board, please state your name for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, it looks like we have an attendee. Shall I move him in?
Yep, please. Looks like we got Carl coming in.
I guess I'm a panelist. I was trying the other thing as an attendee. I presume you can you hear me?
We got you, Carl.
Okay. I've got several things here. First off, maybe I misunderstood. I raised my hand during the questions on the budget. I understood that was a public hearing on the budget. Apparently it wasn't. So my mistake. In the past, they have been shown as public meetings, public hearings, and I never heard those words this time. So
Okay.
apparently we're doing that differently this year.
Well, if you have a question about the budget, Carl, you can definitely ask it right now.
Okay. I've got several. First, will we be able to see the numbers? We haven't seen any numbers. We've seen a couple of top line 8% and a benefit number, which is much higher. on a percentage basis. Will those be available? I have not been able to find them.
Yes.
Okay, all right. The second thing, I'm bringing up some old stuff here, but as far as the impact on the budget, I think a couple of times in discussions of this budget, comments have been made about 3 on board. And I've asked the question before, and what is the fiscal impact of 3 on board? And I've never heard that discussed.
Just so I'm clear, Carl, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when you say 3 on board, you talk about 3-person staffing?
Correct.
Okay.
So I'm curious what the fiscal impact of that is on this budget compared to the previous budget. I understand that it has an impact, but what is that impact? The other thing is, as I've mentioned before, I contend we truly don't know what the true cost is of EMS, which comes into play too with the lid lift that we have coming up. I don't know what the true cost is. Today, when we send an engine on an EMS call, none of that expense goes to EMS. It's all on suppression. I've had a commissioner ask me what difference it makes, and I think accuracy is a worthy goal in and of itself. So I wonder if anybody is interested in working on that so we can see the true cost, because we don't know what it is today. So those are 3 things that come to mind that I'd appreciate comments on or information or whatever.
Yeah, we'll work on getting that information for you. All right,
Thank you.
Carl? Yep.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else wishing to address the board this evening? Take a look at our participants again. I don't see any more hands raised. All right, so we'll close public comments and move to good of the order. Anything for good of the order tonight? All right, with that, we've got quite a few special interest upcoming events. Looks like the 15th have Fill the Boot 9 to 2 at multiple locations in the greater Gig Harbor area. Then October 26th through the 29th is the Washington Fire Commissioner Association Annual Conference. I believe that Commissioner Urbina and who else is going? Nelson. All right. Thank you guys for attending that. October 27th, we'll have a retirement celebration for AC Gerstrom and Division Chief Waters. Congratulations to both of those gentlemen for great service to Fire District 5 over quite a few years collectively. And then October 30th at the Family Fall Festival from 1 to 4 at Station 50 in the training grounds. And then to put on your calendars, everyone, December 1st, Pierce County Fire Commissioners and Chiefs Annual Banquet. Details forthcoming. So quite a few things coming up. Is there anything else under special interest or upcoming events that anybody needs to bring forward? All right, seeing none, we will adjourn this meeting. Our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, October 25th, 5 p.m. Same format. So appreciate everybody. Have a great night.